Today's episode is brought to you by Audible, and actually this week we are reading an erotic fiction drama-filled book for our book club on Patreon. So if you are a part of Patreon, make sure you go to patreon.com/shit-I'm30. Vote on the book. If you're not, be a part of it by going to www.audibletrial.com/shit-I'm30. You'll get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial. So if you want to join the book club, hey, your book is free. You'll get over 180 titles to choose from. If you decide to listen to anything else on your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player, you guys know I'm a huge fan of Audible, so go ahead and get that. Again, that's www.audible.com/shit-I'm30. And now let's get started with the show. Okay, perfect. All right. So now that it took us 37 years, 12 months, and 15 hours to get Zoom to work, this is our new normal. So to me, it's not even a big deal anymore. I'm just like, it takes a while to get Zoom working, to get virtual recordings, but we're still home. And when we're done, I can just jump in bed, you know? I don't have to go anywhere.
I still have my pajama pants on.
I'll have my whole robe on. This morning, I did a consult at 8:30, and I was like, do I want to get dressed? I showered, washed my hair, thought I was going to do my hair, changed my mind, did the braids, put my robe on. The
braids are cute. I really like the braids.
Oh, well, thank you, because it's so easy to do. It has conditioner on, kept it moving. And then I was like, well, it's okay. I want to teach her the fact if I'm already consulting her as one of my students, you can do this too one day. You can start a business where you work out of your robe. What's up? I'm giving you the same content I would give you if I put a work shirt on.
Your goals.
Anyways, guys, I know, right? That amazing voice you guys hear is Steph from the Need to Know podcast. I didn't even say hi to you over at the other end. So hello for coming back to another week of Shit I'm 30 podcast. You know who I am. What's up? But Steph is here. I'm sure you guys have heard of the Need to Know podcast. She is 1/3. Hello, girl.
Hello. So glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for having me. I had so much fun with you guys on your live.
Absolutely.
And a lot of my
shout
followers.
Shout out to your audience, though.
Aren't they awesome?
Wow. Deep. They were deep.
Go show up.
I was like, this amount of like love is real.
And they're opinionated, honey. We have opinions, and we do not mind telling everybody and their mama how we feel.
I love it. I love to see it.
I know. So May, my amazing producer, tells me that you're also a storyteller for the Confirmation series, and that it's a docuseries that uncovers truth behind real life experiences of everyday people. What is that?
Wow, that was almost like that's like verbatim, like what it is. It was
Yeah.
almost like you guys looked it up. No,
well, I sure didn't. She did, and I was reading
shout
over
out to
it.
May.
She's amazing. I was reading it, and I was like, I didn't know this about her.
Yeah. It's so funny that you guys bring it up because like it's like a sign because we kind of halted a little bit during the quarantine. And so my co-producer, he's like, Steph, like I think we got to pick this back up. But you know, like when so much time has like gone by on a project and then you feel bad because like all the time has gone by, so you're like, damn, like should I go back to it? Should I just leave it? Should it just be like one of those unfinished things? But we have all of this great content that we still need to edit. So basically, it is a docuseries, exactly what you said, documenting the lives of everyday people. Me and my co-producer, shout out to Cody, woo woo, we are super big on storytelling and just documenting the process. Because I think a lot of times you see people and you see to where they got and you're just like, how did you get here, right? Or how do you make it through the day-to-day struggles that are a part of being Black, being in the industry, being a woman, being a man. So our first episode was on anxiety and depression, and what that looks like.
Is it video?
It is. It's videos. Yeah.
Okay.
They're little videos on IGTV, and then we also have like the full clips on YouTube.
Okay.
Yes. The first one was on anxiety, depression, what that looks like, how we make it through every day. I think it was through the eyes of a personal trainer, a mental health counselor.
Wow.
And then my co-producer was actually in that one himself. The second episode coming soon, especially because you shouted me out and put the pressure on me to produce it.
I'm happy I brought it up then.
Yes, I'm happy you brought it up too, for sure. And so, yes, the next one is called The Road to the Industry. And that basically documents pretty much the timeline of events that happened between figuring out a love for music and then actually working in the music industry. So 3 stories of a couple people that work at Sony, Columbia, and BET.
That's so interesting. And I'm glad that I didn't even mean for this to happen, but I was this morning speaking to Kiki from Cocktails. And I was reading, there's this Instagram page that I follow. I think it's called Up Before 5 a.m. or something along those lines. And it basically says like start your day early, and it shifts your mindset into doing more throughout the day. And I did a post about what would have happened if I didn't go to New York last year. So I procrastinate on a lot of things. So my therapist, for that move that I did for those 3 months, my therapist told me my first thing to her was maybe next year. You know, like I don't think I'm ready for it. And then I had to remind myself, if you're not ready now, you'll never be ready. Like we keep waiting for being ready, or I fucked up, I didn't do that. And there's so many different things. So as I'm talking to Kiki, I'm letting her know, I'm like, I don't know where I would be if I didn't move to New York, because look at where we are now. Everyone's like, New York summer, next summer, next summer. This next summer didn't come. There is no summer in New York this summer. Will it ever be a regular summer again? You know, will bars ever be the thing like they used to be? So I got that opportunity from just taking the leap of faith and like risking it. Also, so since you say that, my academy for podcasting, I was supposed to launch that beginning of 2019. Before I went to New York, and I had already been testing. I already knew I had students, like I had all of it, and I just kept procrastinating. I'm like, I'm not ready. I don't feel like I'm an expert enough. I need more time. Went to New York, still didn't do it. I didn't start my first course until October or November of 2019. And at that point, I'm like, I'm just not ready. And honestly, in my mind, I wasn't ready, but I killed it. And I did it, and what happened, like what I made from it, I broke even. But from there, I kept progressing and doing more. So it's like you're saying, I've just let it go, and it's been a while, and I put it out there, and then people were probably like, nah, she talked about it and didn't do it. Forget that. Get it done and put it out there, because I was talking about this academy and all this podcasting stuff for a year before I actually went ahead and made it a thing. So just do it.
It's so true. I saw your Instagram post about like just taking that leap of faith and just coming to New York, because I think we just think we have so much time.
I know.
We think we have so much time, and like tomorrow's not promised. Next summer is not promised.
No.
You know, it could look completely different. And I think sometimes we have the illusion of time, and so we make that like trick us into thinking that like, oh, I can do it whenever, but really you can't. And I think coronavirus 2020 definitely proved that.
It's proven to us that, you know, our jobs aren't guaranteed, a salary's not guaranteed, a 401k is not, none of it is guaranteed. Like Medicare is not guaranteed, none of it. Like our lives, our health is not guaranteed. So just do it now. It'll come in a point where you'll wake up and not care about your bills. You won't care about your debt. You won't care about certain responsibilities. It's a priority, you will. Yeah. But it's just like I'm putting things to the side, which is what I did, and just get it done. And it's really hard to leave that mindset sometimes, because sometimes I feel like I'm failing at something in life because I'm not going all the time. Right. So now I'm learning to take a break, because it's really hard, because now I feel like just a loser. I haven't done anything in the past 2 weeks. What the fuck?
Not at all. But I totally get that. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully you'll start. I'll be definitely watching for this docuseries. I'm gonna go watch the first one.
I mean, at this point, we're having a documented conversation. It's out into the world, so I have no choice.
I'm
gonna like call Cody right after this. Like, listen, God is speaking. We have to do this. Like,
we have work to do.
Tonight we have work to do. It's so true.
And it's also the retreat. So my retreat that I did, I think I told you a little bit about it after your live. I've been wanting to do this retreat forever, and I started planning it with someone else. I kept procrastinating. I put it out there, sold out, like within just 2-3 days. You think it's crazy? I think it's crazy, but now I'm like, this shit is a month and a half away. Tomorrow's July 1st. This is going, I'm lying, 2.5 months. It's in September. So July, August, and we're here. The fucking retreat is here.
Wait. When is it?
September.
It's in September.
Yes.
Oh, wow. And where are you guys going?
Here to Florida. We have a big house here. Yeah, we're coming here. But the thing about Florida is that we're going to be in a house, like a really big house. Everybody's going to get checked, make sure nobody has anything. If like they're sick, stay the fuck home. But
temperature at the door and stuff.
Temperature
like
at the door for sure. But the thing about it is in Florida, you're so spaced out from everybody. You know, I keep seeing videos and pictures from my friends in New York, and they go to Target and have to make this line outside. We don't have that issue. Target's empty. Home Depot, there's no line outside. Like, we don't have any of that.
So why y'all getting the coronavirus crazy? What we doing wrong?
They opened up the bars. So for weeks, like, people were out doing Sunday Fun Day and clubbing. Like, it was normal. I literally was on Twitter like, is this really happening? Like, sold out VIP tables. Like, the club was fully open, and they went around the laws by they would sell, if you were selling food, then you can sell alcohol. So they would have like little foods there in order to like open it back up. Anyways,
right.
It just
that's my dream come true. Finally having food at the club. They should have been doing that.
No, that's amazing. And also because we were opening, everybody came to Florida. So it's not just Floridians that brought it here. How many New Yorkers do you know came to Florida?
That's true.
Miami.
That's true. No, it's crazy because I was just talking to Alex, and he was like mad at his friends just like booked tickets and went
just
to Miami and got sick. Yep.
Thank you.
And then came back and weren't quarantining.
So it's not really Floridians that had it because we're not up on top of each other. It's everyone else. To me, it's a totally not scientific. It's just me being really smart and thinking I know everything. Everybody else brought it here, damn it. And that's how we got sick.
Everybody else. Those damn rest of the United States. Listen, I'll give y'all that because no offense, but y'all Floridians, y'all got a lot of problems, other problems.
Listen,
just like
you know,
on a worldwide.
Not
you. I'm not making you the poster
crazy.
Type.
We are so smart. Y'all think we're crazy.
Y'all are something. Y'all are different.
The smartest people are different. Right?
Yo, I remember like a year ago, somebody was like, Google your birthday. Like, so I did like May 19 and then follow it by Florida man.
Oh, I saw
and you will
find
a story for everything.
Did you have a story on yours?
Yes, I had a story. It was really bad. I think mine was Florida man kills his girlfriend because he can't afford her medication.
What kind of medication though? You see, my
questions like this.
It takes
Floridians help us. She said, "What kind of medication?"
Because you don't really know what she was going through. She was probably beating his ass and schizophrenic and going crazy. And it was probably self-defense.
So you couldn't admit her real quick. You had to just.
She was chasing him with a knife.
Because you were there.
I don't know. I'm just saying it's a possibility. We can't just say Florida man because maybe she got out of her. There's reasons. There's a method to our madness, and the bitch was probably trying to attack him. That's all I'm saying.
I want to know more about that. Listen, I'll go with that. That sounds. If that happened, I'd give him like a pass for sure.
I'm gonna give a pass sometimes. There's always a method to our madness. Sometimes there isn't, but I feel like a lot of the times there is.
You've got to run for like council in Florida.
I wanted to be a lawyer.
Help us understand, Carla. Help us understand.
My goal was to be a lawyer, and then I had a kid, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to school for that long.
Okay.
Don't have time. But I definitely would have been a really good lawyer. I don't shut the fuck up. And I love to debate.
I think you would have been a great lawyer.
Oh, my goodness. I will debate you, even if it's something I don't believe in. I'm like, let me just take up this point, and I will just go at it because I like to play devil's advocate.
Absolutely. So and you should. It's good practice.
Oh, I love it. It pisses everybody off, but it's okay. Well, first of all, you should know, I wanted to remind everyone that we're going into July, so July 15th, taxes are due. So I know they extended the taxes. So if you're doing your taxes, make sure you get them done. I actually haven't even done mine. I'm about to. Mine are a fucking clusterfuck.
My dad's just been like annoying me like July 15th. It's coming up. It's coming up. It's days away. It's days away.
Literally. We're only 2 weeks away now. So July 15th, make sure you do your taxes. Get them done whether you're going to do it online or you're going to get an accountant or a tax place to do it. Do not go to these places that charge you $1,000 for if you're just a W-2 person. Please, they do it all the time. Tax season is scam season, 1,000%. And you're hearing this from an accountant herself by trade. So tax season is the best scam season. So make sure you're not going to someone that's, charging you outrageous amounts that you don't even know on the back end.
That's like my whole tax return.
Well, most people that have kids and have a W-2, you're getting back $7,000, $8,000. If they tell you, hey, you're getting $6,000, they don't mind. and they're pocketing $2,000 off of you. You know, and they're getting it from your return, so you're not coming out of pocket with it. Therefore, you're okay, and you don't realize that it's happening. So that's how it happens in the back end, and 90% of people don't realize it. And then another thing for shit you should know, which is funny that May brought it up, and she's like, I found this article because this is something that I don't know. How tall are you?
I had to think. 5'8".
Fuck you hard.
Why?
Because I grew up, I'm 5'4.5". Thank you very much.
Oh, fun size.
Normal size, okay?
Normal size.
So
I'm sorry. That's I think fun size is like a term it's not a PC term you're supposed to use anymore. Like little people, I think.
I actually used to call my sister. She has this guy. I really don't know if she's still talking to him because I haven't talked to her in a while. But I used to call him Fun Size. And one time for like Christmas, I got her a bag full of Fun Size candies in it. I just used to love to tease her, and that's the name stuck, Fun Size, because he's like little and looks like a little turtle.
That's so cute.
But I wanted to be taller. I played basketball growing up, and I would do anything and everything. My license says 5'5". I definitely said 5'7" for all my athletic stuff. Like my profile said 5'7". I just wished I was taller, and I remember back in the day listening to, like, it was kind of like a Dr. Oz, but it wasn't Dr. Oz, about people that will extend their bones and do surgeries for it. So there is a actual surgery now, and it's like, it's a cosmetic height surgery. So it's a limb lengthening performed, and then it's called stature lengthening for individuals who are unhappy about their height and want to be taller. Bitch.
So you saving your pennies up?
Yes, it's coming. So if you see me walking around in 6'1", mind your business, I grew. I had a late
You've made it this far.
I wanted to be tall, so basically
She's I'm going to ride the rides at Six Flags if it's the last thing I do.
I really wanted to be tall and have like a long torso, which I don't have, and I'm not short, but you know, I felt like I was stuck in the middle. Like tall girls had that like beautiful stature, and then short girls were just cute and short, and guys loved them, and I was just like, what's up? I'm like friend zone.
Man, I feel like the grass is always greener on the other side, because so my mother used to have to take me. So I was skinny, but I was tall. So I didn't fit children's place and shit like that anymore. But I also like, I didn't have the curves to like fill out like 5'7" or like pretty girl and shit like that. So my mom would have to like take
shout out to the throwback to these stores.
Shout out to the throwback. Shout out to 5'7".
Yes.
Pretty girl.
Rave. You remember Rave?
Rave,
Charlotte Russe.
Oh my gosh, all of them. Shout out to them. They took a lot of my money back in the day. But my mother would have to put in the waist, like take the waist in and let out the hem on the bottom because I was so long and skinny. So it's really one of those things where it's like pick your poison, because it's hard being a tall
That's what I was just about to say. It's like we're doing this and it's cosmetic, so this is something just like lip fillers or a boob job or a butt job or all this stuff. And I'm thinking, man, we're never happy with what we have. Yeah. There's always someone coming up with something to make you feel like you're not enough or you're not good enough. And it's like, your height is fine. Your boobs are fine. I was just trying to talk because I got mine done. But mine were really bad. I was like inverted. It was just, had no
Wait,
boobs.
you got yours done?
Yeah, girl, 10 years ago.
Oh, shoot.
I know, I talk about it all the time. Every time I say it, everyone goes, what? And I'm like, yeah, my daddy got them for me.
My daddy got
It was this fall. Like,
Thanks,
my mom.
Dad.
It came from his side of the family, so he had to pay for it. Because my mama has boobs. It's his mom that has no boobs.
Oh.
So, genetically, you gave me this imperfection. Fix it.
So, fix it. That's great. That is great.
So basically, if you're thinking about it, you know, if you're just like, my boobs are great and everything else is great, but I want to be taller, it's there. But I would definitely say to everyone, just love who you are. I've learned, I don't know if I would have done it now. If I would have gotten a boob job, I think I've been learning how to love myself more and more. Like, I wanted to get a BBL and get like a little waist because I'm squared. I don't have hips. Like, my body's shaped very like just, you know, up and down, although I've now gained some weight. In my 30s, I don't know where all this thickness came from.
You have a nice body, though. You have a nice shape.
I'm a little thicker now. It wasn't like that before.
More extra, more to love. You know?
Yeah, a lot to love at this point.
A lot.
But yes, but just love yourself and like how you are, and if you want to be taller, do it for you. Don't do it because you want someone else to accept you. I would say that for sure.
Yeah, it's so hard as women, especially, to love ourselves in this day and age. I mean, it's always been the beauty industry, like, preys on you being sad and not liking yourself, and then they market 1,000%. You in that way.
Yes, and right now everybody. Oh, this is perfect because we're gonna go into the discussion for today, and it's gonna be July is National Culinary Arts Month, which is really dope because I have a few friends that are chefs, and I love watching like all the chef things, and I wanted to like. We preface this with, saying love who you are and, what you look like and what your body is. And being National Culinary Arts Month, we're in quarantine, everybody's eating a little bit extra. We're like feeling good. We're not going out anywhere.
Quarantine snacks.
For sure. Did you see a picture that Miss Kardashian, and we know which one, the Kardashian, she posted a video of like this little itty bitty tiny waist at like with a corset. Yes. So small, and it's really unrealistic. And I wanted to basically talk about that because May brings it up to me, and she's like, it's unrealistic. That's not body goals, and it's not. It really, really, really isn't. So coming out right now, talking about quarantine is like we're cooking more. We're eating more. We're probably not exercising as much as we usually would. Like, I know people in New York, per se, you walk around to the train station and you're always going somewhere. You're on the go. That's out of your norm now. And you're home, stuck.
You're going like from your bed to the refrigerator downstairs.
That's it. If you have it downstairs.
If you have it downstairs, or you're just walking out of your room across the hallway into the kitchen or whatever, whatever the route is.
A couple feet back and forth and laying down. Sitting down, laying down, standing up. Might do 5 push-ups, and you're like, whew, that was a lot, and keep it moving.
Yeah, but shout out to all the trainers that like held it down on like the IG lives, because that's literally how I kept myself like.
Did you do any of them?
Yes, every day.
Shut up.
Every day at 11 a.m.
So which one did you watch?
So one of my really close friends, he's a personal trainer, and he basically worked at 24 Hour Fitness, but all the gyms closed.
Of course.
So he built a gym in his basement.
Of course he did.
He like just tore his basement apart and built a gym and was like, all right, guys, we're going to do camp quarantine every morning here at 11 a.m. Don't be late.
So wait, you go there?
Well, it was on IG Live, but now it's open. So like he's taking like some clients like here and there. So that's why like right before we got on the phone, I was like, oh, leg day yesterday.
So wait, so how did you do the IG Live? He'll be working out and you're in your living room working out?
Yeah, exactly. So he would like film himself like working out, and he would have like 2 of like his like top clients, and so he would be like training, and they would be following along, and then everybody else that would be watching his his live would be working out like with him.
But what about the equipment? What if you don't have equipment?
Well, it was mostly like calisthenics, things that you can just do with your body weight.
Shout out to him because I didn't, and to you for staying motivated and going, but that does give you something to go for. I know a lot of people that did end up with a really nice body and they took the time. And then other people like me where it was like, I shoved my entire brain into working, and I had like an amazing like business time for this, and I probably burnt myself out. But also I was sitting stuck in the studio, like eating shit and gaining weight. But during quarantine, did your relationship change with food, like your eating habits?
Did my relationship? I don't know. I'm always like a greedy girl. So I ate probably more than I usually do because my parents were like scared that we were going to run out of food, and like they were scared to go like to the grocery store because they're high risk. So we were just like ordering from Costco's back to back to back. We've got like a small convenience store downstairs in the basement at this point.
Stop.
I'm so serious. My mom's like, all right, I'm making another order on Instacart. What do you want? I'm like, Mom, I didn't even finish the stuff we got from the last haul. Like, we don't need any more food. But so I had access to so many snacks, like the Haagen-Dazs, ice cream bars, Cheez-Its, Pringles, onion dip kept me. I love onion
that sounds
dip,
so good.
Onion dip. All the things. So yeah, I think I probably snacked more. I'm a snacker naturally, but I definitely snacked more.
You snacked more. I definitely get it. Did you cook more? Because I've always cooked.
I did cook more.
Did you learn any new like recipes?
I did. Shout out to allrecipes.com.
Yes.
Everything on it that you need. I made like escovitch shrimp.
Well,
I
shit.
made like what was it? This like spicy fried whiting. I made a bunch of like different plates. Jerk chicken.
That's
I
my
just wanted to
boyfriend's
learn
favorite fish, whiting. You should definitely send me that recipe.
whiting.
He
I
loves,
sure
loves,
will.
loves whiting. I was out at a restaurant the other day with my friend. Like the first time I went out, and one of the people that were there, that said that there's Tasty, the app. So you go to Tasty and you find a recipe, and then they tell you exactly what you need, and from there you order straight to Instacart or to Walmart, and then you pick it up curbside.
Oh, that's dope.
Exactly what you need to make
But
that.
it's shit like this that makes us lazy and fat because like
Yeah.
that is so convenient.
So
like if I wasn't
convenient.
working out, I would have gained at least 15 pounds. At least.
Oh, I gained them.
At least.
But you didn't gain. I gained, honey. Don't you worry. I am the
like, "I got you
proof that if you eat and don't work out, you will gain weight. No, but I really want to try that Tasty app because there's all these different things that I go grocery shopping, and at this point, because we're like, I just gotta grab as much things as I can so I don't come back so often. Things go bad, and I feel so awful throwing food away. Yeah. So I'm trying to like find things to cook with, but if I can just do an order for exactly what I need for each meal, there's no waste of food.
Absolutely. That is a genius idea.
And it's free.
Honestly, shout out. Yeah, it's free.
Yes. That's what he said.
Well, you pay for your food, but you don't have to pay to like use it.
You pay for your food when
That's
you get
really
there.
dope.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the people that like businesses that like found a way to stay above float and just like make people's lives more convenient during the pandemic.
It's innovation. I wrote about it, and I've talked about this because I have a business background and everything business. I love creating things. So when I think about every business, I always think about, what will happen? How are you going to shift your business model? And there's so many businesses that go down under because they're so stuck in their ways. Like, this is the way we do business, and it's worked like this for decades. The world is changing, and it will forever change. So you have to adapt to it. So even though if it doesn't seem like it's a business that could ever be online, trust me, there's ways to monetize online. My friend has a salon, tanning, waxing, beauty salon. How the hell is that supposed to be virtual? She started creating packs of how you can dye your hair at home or do certain tanning at home, and she would mix it for them specifically, and they would buy it. Wow. And it's just like that. She created a business without having to be face to face. And of course, she didn't make the same amount of money she was making before, but the income didn't stop.
Yeah,
because she was able to do it. Listen,
part. Yeah,
white women love their tanning. Okay, they refuse to walk around here white.
Yo, I really don't understand, but that's another conversation. My sister is a hair stylist also. So her clients were like calling her like, "Oh my God, I just went to Walgreens and got the box color. My hair looks crazy. What do I do?" She's like, "Listen, do not box dye your hair. And if you do, FaceTime me so I can walk you through what you need to do and what extra supplies you need to add to it, because it's not going to come out right." These white women were losing their shit. My extensions are falling out. My grays are falling in. Yes. My husband won't fuck me. I'm sorry.
But that's true. I don't think people realize how many of these marriages are really fucking weird.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe I won't say who they were, but it was a neighbor of me growing up. My mom used to tell everybody business. Now I realize I'm like, maybe I should have known better. But my mom just be talking. And I remember her telling me one of the neighbors, they were very, very rich. Where I was growing up in Puerto Rico, he was the president of like a big medical corporation. The wife, you would think it's like perfect. You're with a millionaire. The house is perfect. Kids are perfect. You don't do shit. You sit at home. But in order to have sex, she had to wear boas. Is that what they're called? Like those fluffy, like feathery things? Yes, feathery boas. Heels. She had to wear like at least 5-inch heels. And she had to dress up, do like a whole pole dance and a dance. Like it was a production to have sex. And she had to do this. And if her hair wasn't done the way like that he liked it with the color, like you couldn't have like grays growing in. It was very, very specific what he wanted from her for her to live this life. So everyone's thinking like, oh my God, they have the perfect life and family. But you don't think about what you got to do to have this life.
Yo, and it's going back to what we were talking about before about like women not being like, or just changing themselves and like not being happy. Everything that was probably on him. Like he probably couldn't get it up. And he needed all of this for him to be able to perform. But now she's got to jump through these hoops because he's delinquent.
But at the same time, she's like, well, I want to live this life where I don't work, where I can take care of my kids, where I can walk in the backyard.
So she made the sacrifice. She's like, I'll put the feather boas on at night. Whatever you need, Charlie.
Listen.
Whatever you need.
They stayed together for, I mean, yeah. They stayed together. So it's like, what are you willing to give and take in a relationship? And then, although I saw it, I was like, that is exhausting because there's no way in hell I would do that. But also, I wouldn't be taken care of by a man because I like to work. Yeah. You know? But there are women out there that want to be housewives, and that's totally fine with me. Like, I can't judge them. But there's some things you got to give up or you wouldn't do, you know? So everything works for everybody.
And then it's probably, like, scheduled, because how can you just have all of this stuff just, like, ready at a moment's notice?
There's a closet. She had a full costumes closet. I mean, they have money. So it was a closet just for sex costumes. Fucking listen, all
right, this is not sounding so bad. It's not sounding so bad.
Actually, let me see if I have room for a new closet.
Let me see. Hold on, real quick. Just for sex costume? Shoot.
Hilarious. Are you dating right now?
Oh, dating is such a complicated word.
Oh, I love it. That sigh made me want to like lean back and just listen to what you have to say.
Yeah. Lord, she done got me here talking about the love life.
I feel like you're turning a little red.
Yeah, am I blushing? Is it's just the hat. It's the color from the hat bouncing off my face. No, but I'm not dating. Am I in love with someone, but it's like the wrong time? Yeah, maybe more of that. I don't know if you've seen, Molly from Insecure.
Yes.
So Yvonne Orji, so she has this stand-up comedy,
and
I watched it. She's like, so you'll know the part that I'm talking about. So she goes, you go on a date, and the dude's dope, like everything's going good, and then she just happens to ask him like, so are you by chance like seeing anyone? Like, are you dating anyone? And then the guy goes, man, I mean, I got somebody at home that love me. Nigga, you're not available. So I guess like I'm like that person. I'm like, I got somebody at home that love me, I think.
Hey, how long has it been?
Yeah. It's been 8 years.
Shit, Steph. Oh, ouch.
8 years.
Okay. So are you in a limbo? Like you don't know which way, like a crossroads kind of?
I think we do. I think we enter this like, so we were super young when we started dating. We were best friends for like a year, and then we started dating when I was 19, and he's a year older than me. Mm-hmm. So we dated like all throughout our 20s, never gave each other a breath. Like, I didn't know who I was, he didn't know who he was, but we were like happy to be together and just like smoke and have sex and drink and all the things that you do when you're young and you're having fun and you're not really thinking about your career and all this shit. Mm-hmm. So now we're like taking life seriously, and it's like, oh shit, I never took the time to find myself. I have to take time to like know who I am and pursue my career, so that I can make a life with you one day. Like we can't do the shit that we used to do.
So you met at 19. You met at 19. Started dating at 20?
Started dating. He was 20. I was 19. Yeah.
Okay. So
we met at 18. We met at 18. I was 18. He was 19. Okay. So and then we started dating a year later.
So you're 27.
Yeah. I'm 27. Yeah.
Who you were, and this is totally. It can go either way. So this is me just like having already entered like into your 30s, and you're gonna feel like you're gonna probably at this point you're like, I kind of feel like I know myself a little bit better, and it's gonna get even better, honey. Once you hit 30, it's gonna feel so good. But who you were at 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, even last year is not who you are now. And then who he was is not. So it's not fair to hold yourself accountable to who he is and to who he was and who you were to still make it work. So does that mean that you have to lose love for a person? No. But then you have to kind of get a little selfish at this age and say, what do you bring to me? Do you help me grow? Or am I just used to you? Because you're all I've kind of known.
Right.
So once you start growing. Yeah, no. And it is because I was there. I let mine go of 6 years. And first it was like my marriage of 7 years, then a relationship of 6 years. And it's like through all of that, I grew, but they weren't growing with me per se. It's like we were having fun. We were living life like very, day by day, whatever happens without goals. And I feel like when you sit down and think about your goals and where you want to go, he might be like, oh, that's not where I picture myself. Or that's not what I want. And then that's the worst realization, having to sit down and say, shit, we're not going in the same path.
In the same place. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes that's the hardest decision to make. Or it can be like, maybe we do want the same things, but sometimes I think we force ourselves to want the same things when you know that's not what you want.
It's true. I think for like the reason that I've even like stayed, because I'm a notorious like I dated for like 1 year, 2 years. So I always have like a kind of a long-term relationship. But I think the reason that I stayed in this relationship was for so long was because I felt that like it was equal. You know, like if I took a step here, like he'd take a step here. If he took a step here, then I take a step here. I think when you're also in a long-term relationship, you have a lot of baggage, and it's hard to like see a new person, because it's like, yes, I'm not the same person that I was 5 years ago. You're not the same person you were 5 years ago. But if we don't learn how to forgive, then I'm still kind of like looking at you in this way whenever something that looks familiar comes up. So like if I have a problem with like not listening to him, right? And then like we're having a conversation and I talk over him and I don't listen. Like I feel like he takes that harder. Yeah. Because that's been like a pattern in our relationship.
But then you have to think about, why don't you listen?
So forgiveness is a big thing.
Forgiveness is, but sometimes you have to forgive and move on. You know? Because it's like you're forgiving, but that there's certain things that make you who you are that aren't going to change. You grow, but at the end, like, I am a debater. I am hard-headed. I'm a bull, literally. Like, just like my sign, I'm a Taurus. I'm a bull. So everyone that I've been with is like, oh, I've grown, but I'm still a bull. The people in my past couldn't handle how direct I was. And when I would say certain things, and there's times that I just shut down. So in this new relationship, which came like literally from God, it's like I'm talking and he's okay with me being a bull. And I'll actually say an example. We were going to our little staycation yesterday, or day before yesterday, and I wanted to get out, and I've just been so stressed. And he has twice now made me miss my wax appointment because he's just doing his thing and loses track of time. And I'm like, you're disrespecting my time because you're doing, and not that he's just lollygagging, he's working, he's doing different things, but I'm like, I expect my time to be just as important to you. So these two things. So that's the third time. Now I'm pissed because it's been like a week and a half that he's done this. So I scheduled, I'm like, we have to be out of here by 3:30. At 3:40, he's still out working on the boat and doing some stuff. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, fuck this shit. I'm leaving. So I'm not throwing a fit. So he just drops everything he's doing. He's dirty. So he gets in the car. He's like, all right, let's go. So we leave. And now I'm in the car just like, you're not respecting me. It's my time. And I want, it's not argue, but I wanted him to acknowledge it. And he just shut down and he didn't speak to me. And I'm like, now I'm going to start crying. Because I'm pissed.
Gotta pull out the big guns.
Right. So, and he's not engaging. I get out the car. I check into the hotel. And the second that I get back in the car, he's like, I'm sorry. I will try harder. And it was a 30-minute drive. So it was the longest fucking 30 minutes of my life. Yeah. But that meant so much to me. But he also he knows how to kind of deal with my hard-headedness. And he's like, I'm going to give her until we get there. And I know that I'm going to apologize, but I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to engage. Yeah. And although I would love for him to engage, I would. But anybody in the past, it doesn't matter how much they forgive or anything. If it's not in them to do it, it's part of their personality and part of their character. Yeah. So I know that my people in the past are like, well, you need to be a better listener or you need to not talk back. I'm like, what? Me? Not talk back and stay quiet? Yeah, fucking right. I'm going to talk back and I'm going to screen. Then we're going to take a minute and then we're going to talk about it. Yeah. And I had to find someone that was okay with that and understood that. Yeah.
No, that's real. I think also, though, for me, like, because everybody has, like, the different lessons that they need to learn in their life. And, like, I realized that, like, and it sounds like bullshit, but he makes me a more patient person. Mm-hmm. And I think, like, for whatever my life will look like, I need that quality. Like, I'm literally wearing a bracelet that says patient on it. To, like, as a reminder, because I am just someone who, I'm like you too. I'm a Taurus, May 19th, very strong-minded, very like, I'm a bull. I go for what I want. But sometimes I run people over. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's not just in my romantic relationships. Sometimes it's in my professional relationships. Sometimes it's in my family relationships. So I think, like, a union with a person is supposed to, like, help you with your weak spots and your strong spots and things like that. And I don't know what the future looks like, right? Like, I have no idea. But I love him. I love him, and I know he loves me. And honestly, like, I don't know. I'm such a romantic. I'm at the point where I'm just like, you know what? If I know that this is the right person and I see the qualities and like I could see myself raising a family with you, then like if I'm going to take the time to wait, I'll wait. I know a lot of people might not agree with that. It's like,
no,
like,
that's your choice,
like,
and you choose to do that. If it's not detrimental to you right now, and you're like, maybe I could, then you could work it out. Because there's people that have been together since they were like 12, and now they're like 100, and they're still together. So it's definitely your own journey.
Because you grow, you're like a different person. It's hard to grow with somebody through the years for the exact reason that you said. You become different people.
All right, let's take a quick break from the episode because I have a public servants announcement. Get some therapy, bitches. Y'all, we need therapy. And I have teamed up with BetterHelp. I tell you about this every week, and I promise you, I'm not going to stop. I will not stop telling you we need someone to talk to outside of our friends, outside of our lovers, outside of our parents, outside of our siblings. We need someone to talk to, and BetterHelp is here to help us. So if you're going through some things, and if you're telling me you're not, you're fucking lying. BetterHelp is here to assess you, help you find what you need, match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start talking to them literally within 24 hours. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help, but it's actually professional counseling done securely. So it's available for people worldwide. I don't care where you're listening to from. I have 80 plus countries that listen to this podcast, so you can get it yourself. You can log into your account anytime. Send a message to your counselor. Like when I do, I'm like, hey girl, I need your help right now, or I'm freaking out, or whatever it is. And she'll always send me like little extra things I should buy or read into after our therapy session, because just the same way I can message her, she can message me. You're going to get a timely and thoughtful response. Plus you can schedule your weekly video or phone session. You don't have to be in an uncomfortable waiting room. You don't have to be worried about getting COVID, on top of the fact that we're already dealing with enough shit. You know what I mean? So you don't have to sit here with the anxiety that you're going to have to run into someone who's sick and coughing all over you with a fever. Also, it's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and there is financial aid available. So please go right now. I want to help you. BetterHelp wants to help you start living a better life today. So try BetterHelp.com/30. Again, that is trybetterhelp.com/30. Start today. For anyone that listens from and comes over from Shit I'm 30, and you let them know I brought you, with that code, you're going to get 10% off your first month. I know so many of you guys that have already tried it, that keep using it. So I know that it's real because I use it. Y'all use it. So don't be left out feeling like, this world is dragging you. Right now, take the initiative. Try BetterHelp.com/30. It's linked on the episode. Search it right now on your phone while you're listening and get started and get a person specifically for you, and let me know how it went. Now that you're getting that done right now, because I'm tired of anyone going through things alone. I'm tired, so I'm here to help you. Get it done. We're going to get back and go back with Stephanie to talk about, whatever else is happening in our lives at the moment. Now, you said you're bullheaded and you're like really strong, and it comes up in professional relationships. Now, let's talk about need to know, because you work with two guys. So how does that work, and how is it working with two men for your creative and in the podcast space?
It's like speaking Chinese and German. It really is. Men are just different than women. We just are. It's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just you have to learn how to meet on the same level. Mm-hmm. Men can be aggressive, and it's fine. When women are aggressive, we're a bitch. Big time. So there's that. So I've had to learn how to get my point across, because at the end of the day, we're a team. Mm-hmm. And I'm not trying to be right. I'm trying for us to all win. You know what I mean? How can we win? How can we go to the next level? So when I realized that even if I'm right, the way I'm saying it, if it's not getting through to the person, then it doesn't matter if I'm right, because they don't accept it. So I've had to now find ways to repackage what I'm saying so that
learn their language.
Exactly. So that it can translate to them, because they're great. Honestly, God really blessed me with two, not only just co-hosts, but friends. We're cool. We're friends. We hang out outside of the podcast and stuff.
I mean, you guys literally made it to 100 episodes. That's not easy. And I think I've told you guys, and I talk to this to my students all the time. Most podcasts will never see 100 episodes ever.
Wow.
So for you guys to make it there, you're learning to speak their language. You're learning their Chinese and they're learning your German.
German, yeah. It's true. It's true. And then I also think that just when you have a vision and you see that what you're doing is like bigger than yourself, like you try to commit because you have a vision and you're like, okay, this is where I want to go. So what do I have to alter? What do I have to change? What do I have to do differently to get there? Sometimes things don't work out, right? But also sometimes people give up too easily because it's hard.
Did you have to adjust some of your like traits or characteristics like throughout the podcast itself?
Absolutely. Savon, like it's three of us. Savon is Mike A, but I like to talk. I like to talk. I want to lead the conversation, you know? And we had to fight for that spot in a way, you know? Or Alex. Like, Alex is more, like, cool, calm. Like, he plays the background. And sometimes me and Say is, like, just going at it.
And you forget Alex is
trying to... He trying to jump in, like, double dutch, like, what? Yeah. You know, I was gonna... Okay. And then he'll just sit back and listen to us go at it. And we had to realize that, like, hey, I have to let Savon lead. And me and Savon both have to include Alex, and we have to be intentional about that. So we've all had to like definitely make
and take your roles. No, and that's really important to do because if there's any podcasters listening, or even like if you have a business with someone, or even in a relationship, sometimes you fall into these roles, and it's like it's okay just because it's. Some people will take, and it's a lot of pride and ego when you say, for me, I don't like to be like Mike A and B and C. It's like we have our roles. So when you say lead, some people would take that, oh my God, well, he leads me. No, it's you can lead certain things, and just because you're not the quote unquote leading, that's not the name behind it, that doesn't mean you're not also leading. You're contributing just as much as everybody else. Alex and his ways and being even more quiet and laying back, his support and his contribution is just as important, because it wouldn't be the same without him.
Right.
So
absolutely.
That's it's dope, and that's probably why you guys have made it. Not probably, but definitely one of the main reasons why you guys have made it so far, because you're being able to adapt to each other's roles and what you're supposed to do without having ego get involved. Does that mean that there aren't going to be fights and that ego sometimes won't flare up and you have to kind of take a chill pill and a Tylenol for it? No, it'll happen. But it's how do you come back from it, and the communication, like say, well, I ain't gonna talk to you for the next week. I'll talk to you next week and we'll figure it out then. And sometimes you have to do shit like that in order to be able to be successful and get to where you guys are at.
Absolutely. That, like, getting over your ego is a big part.
Ego is huge. Ego is really big, and it will destroy like amazing things that you might have going on. So how do you feel about turning 30?
Honestly, the later I get into my 20s, I'm like 30 is looking like more and more like a reality. I never saw myself like 30 seems so far away, and I have such like a childlike demeanor and attitude that when I think 30, I'm like, whoa, this is the big leagues. Like, that's like adult, like big shit, you know? But I mean, listen, I'm 27. I didn't think that I was going to be this many years old in my life ever. But I'm looking forward to 30.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to 30.
I was very scared to 30. At 27, I was still like, that is ages away. Like,
eons
30?
away.
What? Like, that 30 at 27, I think 30 to me felt like 50. Like, they are old. And I'm 6 years younger than my sister. So at 24, when she turned 30, I was like, whoa, grandma.
You old bitch.
Eggs are like freezing up. You'll like, that's it. No more kids. Like, where your grandkids. Better have a baby
like tonight. Because...
Right. Tonight. You can't, you got to adopt one. That's it. So, yeah, 30 is just amazing. So if you have any like preservations of like, I might not be where I'm supposed to be, don't worry about that shit. Like, don't push yourself. Definitely push yourself to like become better every single day, but not because you're about to turn 30, because trust me, whatever you're doing right now at 27, 28, 29, when you turn 30, 31, that's just going to shift. And you're going to do it in a whole different way. Hiccups. Do you have any mentors that are leading you in this way in life?
Mentors. That's a good question. I think that I have a lot of brothers and sisters that I look up to. I'm the last of 5. So I have 2 older sisters. Shit. Yeah. Okay. So I'm always just kind of like, I still live at home too. So like that point in your life when you're becoming an adult, so you're still under your parents' household, but you're not their child anymore. But it's still the respect of it being their household. So I'll like call my sister and like ask her like, listen, mom, dad's bugging out, and like we'll be on the phone for like an hour, and she'll be telling me all of the intricacies of, listen, you know, you're getting to be that age, and you know, find out what you want to do, and if you want to move out, you know.
Right.
So that's a part of it. But you know, it's so crazy. I feel like I don't have like a formal mentor.
Sometimes it could be someone that you're watching. So for myself, there's a lot of people that I'm a cyber stalker. So I love to watch people and like how they move. And you definitely don't know them like in real life, but there are some that I have met in real life after me like watching them forever. But at least I watch their path and their blueprint and what they've done and the mistakes that they've made that are public. And I can say, hey, like this are some things I did that before. How can I recoup, or how can I want to get there. So let me see how they got there. But definitely, I think leading into your 30s, you should find someone that you look up to and you can perhaps just speak to when you're going through things. And it could be an older sibling that you look up to. And that can definitely help, and that can be considered a mentor.
I mean, I think like for me, I guess like it's less like worldly. So my faith is like really important to me and my relationship with God, and just understanding like who he made me to be and the plans that he has. And so I don't know if you've ever heard of like discipleship.
I mean, I know what discipleship is, but yes. I thought you were meaning like a book or something.
Oh, no. But like the actual act of like, so I meet with one of my friends. She's amazing. She has such a crazy story. And really, it's kind of like Christian therapy. Like we check in throughout the week. I talk about like some hurdles that I've experienced, and we just go into the word, and she gives me her experience about it. And I always feel a little bit more equipped for whatever I just went through and the week coming ahead. Right. So she always like will leave me with like a question like, okay, how can you let yourself experience the grace of God more in your life? How can you let yourself not talk with a spirit of condemnation toward yourself and a spirit of criticism? You know what I mean? How can you learn more patience, right? And so these are like little things that I'll take with me throughout the week and try to apply.
And that's awesome. And I think that aura, and I kind of like gives me more insight as to why probably you are the way you are and why you speak the way you speak. That keeps you grounded. And it took for me to deal with wax to learn the strength of that spiritual healing and knowledge and being that way. Because to me, I always felt like, you know, therapy is one thing or having a mentor is one thing, but wax doesn't really have any of that. And I argued with him at one point. And it took for a conversation during the episode with Charlamagne on my podcast, when I don't know if we did it on air or off air, but I'm like, he doesn't want a mentor. He's saying that he doesn't have anyone to talk to call, although he has people that he'll talk to, but he doesn't have anyone that he goes straight to his knees next to the bed and prays and straight to the word. And that's one thing that Charlotte said to me. He's like, there are some people that can just go within and get to that prayer and get to that Zen space and then grow from there. And I'm like, I never thought of that. But there are some people you're wondering like where the strength comes from, and their strength literally comes from their faith, whatever that might be. Because when we think about Malcolm X or, you know, the Honorable Muhammad Elijah or anything like that, it's like all of that, it's like, where did it come from? And it came from their faith, regardless of who they worshipped. It's just it's a belief and it's a faith, and it makes you just so much bigger. So I'm glad that you said that, because you're like, oh, I don't have a mentor. I'm thinking, oh my God, maybe you should get one. But then you say you're doing that, and I'm like, that's where it's coming from, and that's where your knowledge and that's where your growth comes from as well. So that's kind of dope.
Because I realized that like I think mentors are extremely important, but I think like we're human beings. You know what I mean? So like. You've got flaws. I've got flaws.
Correct.
Like, there's got to be, I guess for me, the way I look at it is like, there's got to be something bigger than ourselves to help ourselves, you know? Because I remember I used to go to this church, CCC, and the pastor always used to say, you can't solve a problem on the same level that it was created. And I'd be like, oh, wow. Okay. And so I even take that with like, advice that I look for in other people. Sure, you may have accomplished something, but my walk is my individual walk, you know, and there's only, it's like when you break something, who do you go to? You go to the manufacturer, right? So it's like, I've got to go to my creator when I feel broken, you know?
When you break a leg, you go to the doctor.
You go to the doctor, right? The great physician, you know? So,
yeah, absolutely. That's when I think about some people that are like, oh, I have a broken leg. I'm just going to pray about it. Well, you know what? God also told you that there's someone, a place. There's a doctor. He gave them the strength. He gave them the knowledge. He gave them that craft to be able to help you. So let's do that. He created a son that created me. Like, let's just be practical about some of these things. So there's extreme versions of all of it. There's definitely a mixture
of like faith and action that go into it. Where
it's like, faith without works.
Yeah. Faith without works is dead. So it's like this chair, right? This chair that we're sitting in, right? Like, I believe that this chair is going to support me. Right. So I'm going to sit on it. You know what I mean? Like, I believe that God is going to heal me, but I'm also going to go and take steps to acquire that healing by going to the doctor. I'm a pray.
But you've also sat on this chair before.
Yeah.
When you go to a place, have you not usually seen a chair and kind of like test it first? I might move it to make sure it's good.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, because you've never sat on it before. So you're like, I know that chairs hold me, but I'm not just going to plop my ass onto a chair that I've never sat on before. Usually you move it, pull it, like you're good, and then sit on it. Yeah. So it's just like, try some things out. Don't just say I have faith and then just sit there on your fucking ass and think that something's going to happen.
Because some people use it as like an excuse to just be afraid. And, you know, that's real too. Because everybody suffers. We all suffer from fear in some way.
Yeah, but we have to let go of that fear. We shouldn't be fearful if we have faith at all.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
If you have faith,
it's true.
Fear should be at the front.
And I'm always like reciting the scripture where it's like, whenever I do feel fear, I'm like, that doesn't come from God, because God doesn't give me a spirit of fear. He gives me a spirit of power and of love and a sound mind. So it's like always combating like false evidence appearing real, fear, with what is the truth about this situation.
And what is the fear? So I talk
and where's
about
this fear
all the
coming
time.
From? Yeah.
I say, what's the worst that can happen? So when I go into different situations, which I'm fearful of, I'm scared of, I'm hesitant, what's the worst that can happen? And it's like me moving to New York. What's the worst that can happen? I end up broke. Okay. And then what happens if you're broke? Gotta get a job. Okay. And what happens if you have to get a job? You work for another year and save money again. Okay. And then what? And then I can do it again. You know, it's like, as long as the end result is not I'm dying or my daughter is starving and can't, anything crazy to the extreme, just do it. There's always a solution for whatever's going to happen on the other end and whatever the consequence might be. But I'm glad we talked about that, because I feel like at this point, a lot of us are looking for something to like hang on to. And I think faith is one of those things that we should definitely hang on to. But don't forget that faith without works is dead. So if you want to start a business, if you want to start a podcast, if you want the relationship to be better, it's not just pray about it. You got to do some work behind it. Read a book, figure out
the work.
Yes, you have to do the work. So we're going to move on.
To do it, so we got to do it.
1,000%. So we're going to move on to our next segment real quick. We've just been talking. I like talking to you. I talk a lot. Like, I think I might have met my match. So you said you have siblings. We're going to go to Unsolicited Advice, which is a segment where we give advice. And if you would like to send in an email or DM me for me to give you advice to the guest or by myself, you can go ahead and email me at shit30podcast@gmail.com. Right on there, Unsolicited Advice on your header. And I will go ahead and read it on the show. So this week we have a letter about narcissistic siblings. So you're one of 5. I'm one of 5 as well. But in the household, we were 3. It says, I used to think that I was a very chill person, but I realized that growing up with a narcissistic sibling, I was not actually chill. Instead, I was just very used to people violating my boundaries. After realizing this, I now notice each time I set up a boundary, example, something like, please don't talk to me about that because I don't like it. This makes me feel uncomfortable. I get responses like, why are you so defensive? Anyway, now that I realize this, I have no experience or knowledge on how to enforce my boundaries when they are being violated. Dealing with my covert narcissist sister is nearly impossible, and she is difficult to talk to. So I would appreciate some advice or tips on how to enforce my boundaries with a covert narcissist in mind, and or enforcing boundaries with people in general. Anything will help. Thanks. You got any siblings that are narcissists?
Ooh. I think I come from a West Indian family, Jamaican family. I think we're all narcissists in some way, shape, or form. But being the youngest, you always get like little broed and like, again, boundaries where it's like, I don't like this or this hurts my feelings. And they're like, you're a punk or why are you so defensive or this and that. I realized as I got older that narcissists feed off of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they feed off of you giving your power away.
Right.
You know? So if I cry, it's like more ammunition. You know? But if I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like, but if I'm just like, if something happens that like pisses me off and I'm just like, oh, really? I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah, I think
they don't have any fuel.
I don't know. I come from an island family as well. But I don't know if anyone is so much narcissist. I do know there were no boundaries. And it took me until my very late adult years, aka recently, to set those boundaries, which even meant cutting people off. So it's like, if you don't respect my rules, if you don't respect my boundaries, you got to go. So if you don't respect my feelings, and it's just, you have to set them. And at first, when you set boundaries with someone, they feel like it's disrespectful or you're acting brand new or whatever, but they'll get used to it. If they want to be around you, if they want to be, like, she seems a little younger, but like, if they want to be around, you know, your child, if you have kids, they'll get it together. And eventually they'll realize, oh, well, this is her rules. I just have to stick by them. Unless you're being like completely crazy with you're changing your boundaries to just being an asshole. But if you have boundaries and if you don't like to be spoken a certain way, then if you're going to keep speaking to me this way, I'm not speaking to you.
Yeah, no, that's real.
So you do so. And narcissist people, they only think about themselves. And they're the only things that matter. So you have to set boundaries there regardless.
It's true. I have a bleeding heart. So I have this like annoying way about me of like wanting everything to work out with everyone. And I want to keep the peace because I don't know balance. So I'm either like screaming and fighting and fuck youing, or I'm like, listen, we can work this out. Like, I think it was just a miscommunication and understanding. What is it that you're so upset about? Maybe I can try to understand. You know, so like I maybe am not the best one to give advice on this one, because I always try to just like, I'm like, I have like people pleasing tendencies, you know, so I'm always just trying to be like, keep the peace with people.
Yeah, because I was there at one point.
I can be confrontational and I try not to. So I go all the way in the other way to be like,
you have two extremes. You know, so when I first started therapy, that was my thing. I had two extremes. I was either really nice and I kept letting you run me over and walk all over me. And then I would let it keep happening until I fucked you up. And now we fought and now it's a problem. So I had to learn from this emotions wheel that I had to open up and become like a thing with, how there are so many emotions in between. So it's like, if you're feeling this way, then what's after that and what's after that? So now that I've opened that gate of fucking feelings, I can't close it. I'll send you the wheel.
Yeah.
My God. It's like, you gotta be careful. Because once you're there, you will start noticing that you have feelings in between. It's not just happy and angry. You know? It's not just like, oh, I want to help. So, Lord have mercy. That's real.
No, my therapist was like telling me about something where she's like, she thinks of it of like this big dinner table and she'll invite all of her feelings to the dinner table. So like, if guilt is there, she'll let guilt sit down. If frustration is there, she'll let frustration, jealousy, even if they're not like speaking, she'll acknowledge that these are her feelings.
Yes. And that's what you have to do. But when you acknowledge these things, you become very emotional. And I was never an emotional person because I had this wall up all the time. So I didn't let things in or let things out. So now that like I've been working on these emotions for the past 2 years, about 2 years now I'm just an emotional floodgate. So I'm like, y'all just got to deal with my fucking tears all the time. It's like tears or we're going to fight. One of the two. I know. And I'm trying to not get to the fighting part. It's literally either like I'm going to cry in front of you or I'm going to scream and curse you out, you know? And I hate crying in front of people because I just feel like it gives my power away. It makes me feel like a weak bitch. Don't you? Yeah. Do not mistake these tears for weakness. I still beat you up. Because I'll bust a cap in your ass real quick. Just kidding. I haven't heard that in so long. There was one more question, though. So for you, basically set those boundaries, stick to them, which is really important. Stick to them. And then if it's better for you to have those boundaries than to have someone like kind of drag you down in your spirits and like how you feel. There was one more question. It's about declining an invitation. It says, how do I respectfully decline a birthday invitation? My friend wants to have a birthday party with a few other people this week. However, I'm really uncomfortable because of the pandemic. How should I respond to the invitation? Bitch, don't show up. Like, is it Zoom? No? Okay. I went, like I said, a couple of days ago to this dinner. I needed to get out of the house. I was so frustrated. And I went. There was two tables at the restaurant. That was it. So it was some people on the other side, and then it was us. And I thought that it was only going to be her and her friend and myself. When I got there, it was her boyfriend, the 2 girls, and while we're eating, another couple comes. Another friend of hers with her boyfriend. I'm like, this is six of us now, when I thought it was going to be 3. Yeah. Gave me a little anxiety. Things have changed, you know. I was like, let me acknowledge the fact that this is changing. I don't know where the fuck these people have been. I know my friend she's the stylist of the salons open. She's around people, and I'm like, I think my throat is hurting. All of a sudden, my throat started hurting at the restaurant. I'm like, but I know it's in my head. My throat wasn't fucking hurting. But if I would have known, I probably would have declined the invitation. So since you already know, you can just say, hey, this is how I feel about being around people at the moment. You know, shout out to you for her being fearless, baby girl, or maybe whoever it is. I don't want to go, and I don't feel comfortable with it. Let me know. I would love to send you an Amazon gift card if you have the disposable income for it, because people are not working right now. If you're not, you're not. Or let them know, hey, when this is over, I got you. Rain check for whatever reason. But I don't feel like anyone should be forced to be around other people, because the anxiety behind it is real.
Yeah, and this is literally a matter of life and death. Yes. Like, there were so many, again, just going back to the fact that I live at home with high-risk parents, like, I had to be even more careful. So I quarantined for real. Like, I didn't leave the house for the 90 days. Like, I stayed in. Right. And my friends would be like, I really want to see you, da-da-da. And I'd be like, let's FaceTime. Like, you have to find new ways to interact with people. So I'd spend like 2-3 hours on FaceTime. Because I'm just like, I can't see you. Like, this is real, and we have to be honest. Like, this is the time to be honest, to be like, listen, coronavirus is still out. It's still out here. Like, let's not act like it's not. There are people, like, people just be chilling in crowds, no mask, like, not social distancing, acting like shit is all good. It's not all good. Like, our producer for the podcast just got the virus.
The girl?
Yes,
Shavina. The pretty girl?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
She did. So just keep
she
her
okay?
in prayers. I mean, she said it was just really scary that her whole family went from, like, healthy to really sick in, like, a day.
Shit.
You know, so she's on a ventilator. Thank God she has one.
Wait.
Yeah, because she's having breathing problems.
But I feel like ventilator means, like, when you're, like, on life support.
Oh, no. The thing for your mouth.
Oh, like an oxygen mask
face.
Or whatever.
Like an oxygen mask. I think, but it's called like a ventilator, though.
Oh, maybe.
Right?
You scared me. I was like, wait, this just turned, like, no. Okay, yes, I'll definitely keep her in my prayers.
Ventilator for nasal support and for lungs and for your lungs. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, definitely.
No, you were like, no,
I'm like, wait, what?
No.
No, it's really scary. And I think a lot of people right now are, like, doing this whole conspiracy or freedom. I don't want to wear a mask. Just please. It could be just the flu.
Now's not the time to make a fucking statement. It's not a time to make a statement. It's real.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, COVID has been here, or Corona has been here for years. Yes, it has. But what happens is that there's a pandemic of it right now. So yes, it's been here forever, but now it's just a little bit worse. And regardless of what you feel about it, be on the safe side. Who wants to get sick? Who wants the flu? Who wants to not be able to breathe from being healthy? Like, I don't know. So this birthday party, not my cup of tea.
Scratch it. And then you find out, like, if people have problems with it, you find out who your real friends are.
Word, because that means that they don't care about you or your health, or your feelings, how you feel about something. If you're not comfortable with it, you're not comfortable with it. Period. Point blank. So we're gonna go into our last segment of the show, and that is my favorite, and it is my shit talk. Talk a little shit. I'm trying to think, like, something that's really upset me recently, and I think I would just say I've gotten on my own nerves.
That's real.
The past couple of weeks,
I get on my own nerves at least once a day.
Yeah, I mean, I usually do, but right now it's just, man, like, I've been talking about it day in and day out, it feels like, on the podcast and on social media. It's like, I felt like quarantine had not gotten to me, and I think it got to a lot of people like early on the onsets of it, within those first 90 days. This just hitting me now in the past couple of weeks. And I'm sure there's, like, other reasons why, but it's just, I'm tired of being home. I've really now feel like I've lost control of, like, everything. We can't really do anything. And I'm like, all my vices are gone. So I felt like I wasn't being productive at all. And today, like, I sat down for a little bit, and I'm like, oh, I got some things done, and I felt better. So I just wanted to basically tell myself, give yourself some grace, calm the fuck down. My therapist was like, girl, you're doing the most. And I'm like, I know. But if there's anyone out there who's a super workaholic like myself, I've turned into a workaholic because I was definitely not a workaholic when I was working 9 to 5 because I didn't give a fuck. I was going to get paid on Friday regardless, whether I did my work or not. But now being, you know, an entrepreneur, so like things are a little bit different. So I dove into my work and I love it. So that's all I would do. Work. And Ayana's been gone for a month and a half, almost 2 months. And I don't have to worry about feeding my kid or whatever. Other than I have Wax here to feed, but sometimes I'm like, nigga, go buy something to eat. So I had to, you know, stop and take a break from work and say it's okay to just not have the same month every single month and then make it up the following month. So this shit talk is mostly to me and to anyone out there who is just as hard on themselves to just take a break. Give yourself grace, even if, and it's okay. I thought grace was a day or 2. My grace is now having to be like 2 weeks. I'm at like 2 weeks now, and I'm like, this is a long time. My therapist was like, no, it's not. Just chill. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I don't want to.
Grace is literally for as long as you need it.
Yes.
Like, as long as you need it. And being a doer and a hustler, grace feels like an excuse to be lazy.
Yes, that's what I
that
feel
was my issue. Because I totally resonate with you right now, Carla, like OD, because when we first got on this quarantine, I was freaking out. So I was like, I'm also an actress. So I had gotten back into the swing of things. I had just landed like a series. We just finished shooting it. I was one of the main characters.
Yes.
So I was on a high. And I was just like, ooh, can't wait to get this work. What's next? I had mad auditions coming up. They all stopped. I was like, huh? What? Can't record the podcast, can't go to the studio. I literally had an identity crisis where I was like, if I can't work, who am I?
Wow.
And not only could I not work, I didn't even have I couldn't do anything. And then when I was trying to think of like creatively, like what to do, I was just falling flat. There was just like,
block. Creative
block. There was a block. And, you know, going back to like the grace and, you know, like our faith conversation, like it really took God telling me like, we gonna get back outside. But what I need you to know is that your worth and your value is not what you do and what you produce. You have an inherent worth, an inherent value. And I need to like retrain the way that you see the world and the way that you think about working. Right. And you need to see it differently because I attributed so much of my value to what I was able to go out and do for myself.
Right.
And so it really like rocked me. Like I cried every day.
Every day. Now I feel like I'm nothing but a crybaby because who I viewed myself as and who I thought my identity was is no longer that. Or it feels like it's no longer that. It's still that, but right now it doesn't feel like it. So I'm like, who am I? I'm nobody. I'm going to be absolutely just dig a hole and put me in it and just cover me in dirt right now.
No, and there's so much more. And, you know, opening my life up to the fact that, like, I wasn't what I did, but, like, I am who I am. It helped me to build stronger relationships with my parents, my sisters, my friends, being there for people, getting back to my writing, right? Like, my writing is, like, my safe space.
Yes.
Realizing that, like, I be kind of funny and I like to write jokes. So writing some stand-up, like recording my voice, you know, things like that. So you find that, like, there are just things that, like, just exist within you that are super powerful that have nothing to do with going out and making $1. That's important because you got to pay your bills. So shout out to unemployment. Thank you, Lord. But it was just real good to just, like, get back on track and realize that, like, on my own and on our own, we are inherently valuable. And that's where you should create from, knowing that the value comes from, like, inside out, not outside in.
That's very true, and I'm glad that you said that because I haven't. Yes. I've been trying to find people that I can connect with on that level where they don't feel like things have really rocked for them and like things have changed. And it's really hard in this creative space to find someone else that have felt that way because a lot of them have felt that way, but they've just kept going. And then just things have changed for me. Is there anything that has happened to you that you wanted to do a shit talk or that got on your nerves recently? Somebody you want to be like, fuck you?
Let me tell you, I'll be real honest. I know we haven't gotten political this whole podcast, but white people. I
love talking about
white people. White people. Here's the thing. If you're listening, like I love white people. you know.
But we're going to make a clip of it. Sure. No, we're going to make a clip of it. There's like 3.
There's 3. Okay, that's good. Well, to all 3 of you who are listening. No, I really just think that, you know, having white people continue to ask the questions like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Teach me. How does this make you feel? How can I do better? Or, you know, I can't even believe I can't even believe this is happening. It's just like, where have you been? Like, where have you been?
In their white skin. That's, you know? Where.
But I think for me, it's annoying because it's like, any other time y'all want to create something or do whatever, y'all Google it, y'all research, you do your due diligence.
Right.
So do your due diligence. Like, educate yourself. If there are questions that you have, type it in Google. Don't go to your black friend and be like, hey, like, they're not your pundit, you know, to fucking bounce questions off of and give you the whole spiel of 400 plus years of slavery. Go teach yourself. And 9 times out of 10, you've already identified it. You already know, like, when you're sitting at the dinner table and you're a racist dad or you're a racist mom or you're a racist uncle, you know what it is, you know? And so for me, it's just like, stop depending on black people to educate you about a problem that is yours to fix.
1,000%. I truly agree with that, because you can literally, like you said, go to Google and say, I'm a white woman. How can I do better for the black community? And it will give you a complete breakdown. There's now blogs and there's so many things you can do. And we're not here to educate you. And for them to say, I can't believe this is still going on. Of course. And I understand that you can't believe it because it doesn't happen to you. But also that's when it drives me nuts when I keep hearing people say, I don't see color. And I'm like, if you don't see color, what we say is you don't see me. That I don't see color statement makes me want to punch someone straight in their throat.
It's like
of course you don't.
It's the all lives matter conversation. Like, I don't see color. I don't see color. And I think it's a cop-out. I was listening to this podcast where it's a police union rep, and he was talking to this journalist from the New York Times. And he says, oh, I don't see color. So then the journalist says, I'm going to stop you right there. Like, that sentence is really problematic because what that means is that you don't see race, which means you don't see racism. Mm-hmm. Right? You have to understand that black people's lives are different from white people's lives in America.
Right.
You know, you have to. And to say that
it's like they don't want to believe it. It's like they refuse. They don't want to. And now, I love these Karen videos when they're like, they're sitting here discriminating me because of the color of my skin. Bitch, it's what's been going on in this country for hundreds of years. And now you're getting it because someone's telling you stop being a dickhead because of the color of your skin. And then you're like, it's the color of my skin. No, it's not the color of your skin, you douchebag. It's because you are being stupid. It's not the color of your fucking skin.
And you know what would be so crazy, Carla? Like, on the other side of that, like, let's just say being called a Karen is racist, right? Let's just call it racist. This is how you know it's not in real life, right? Doesn't stop you from getting a loan. Doesn't stop you from sending your kids to a good school. Doesn't stop you from getting equal pay. Doesn't stop you from being racially profiled. So even if me calling you Karen, it might be prejudice, which is a feeling, but it's not racist, which is an action.
Right. And if you're being called a Karen, it's most likely because you're doing something really fucking stupid. I have this white friend. I really don't know if she listens to this podcast. I hope not. She sends me a text and she was like, am I a Karen? And I literally bust out laughing because she's an extremely, extremely privileged girl, lives with her father, comes from a high-end like family. And she does have a child by a black man. And she's likes to smash black guys. Like that's her. All her guys have been like black. Thing. So that's that kind of white girl.
Right.
So I'm like, I answered with, "Are you?" I'm not going to tell you if you're a Karen. Good. You figure out if you're a Karen. There's enough videos. There's enough information out there letting you know what a Karen is, and only you know. In your household, in your thoughts, in your room, in your conversation with other white women, if you're a Karen or not. I can't tell you that.
And 9 times out of 10, if you need to ask me, you know the answer already.
Right. So that's why I was just like, are you? You know what you've said in your head to others and your family. You know what's going on there. So I don't have to answer that for you because at the end of the day, probably you won't say to me what you say to your parents or to your friends. So if you feel as a white person to ask, am I a Karen? You probably are. So now take that into consideration and fucking fix it.
Yeah. It's like, and it's fine. It's okay. Like, if you are just discovering that you are a Karen, the very first step to fixing a problem is admitting that you have one. Yes. So if you're a Karen, it's okay. I'm sure there's like a million articles, 5 steps to identify if you're a Karen and what you can do about it.
And if there isn't, we're going to do it.
I'm going to write it myself.
Please do. Share it, and I will tell everyone about, you know. Oh my goodness.
Or everyone you suspect of being a Karen.
Yes. Like this. Oh, that's funny. She said we need to have an episode as racism and disorder. I don't think I want to give them that cop out, saying that racism is a disorder. I feel like that's a cop out. I feel like there are real disorders like schizophrenia and things like that. And racism is taught for sure. It's something that, you know, it's part of this country, but it's not a disorder. I don't think it's a disorder. You choose to be racist. And once you know better, you do better. So somebody with schizophrenia, it's like, oh, yeah, you're schizophrenic. You're wired wrong. Now that you know, you can't fix it unless you take medication. If you're a racist and then they're telling you, you know, black people really are equal, like this, just the color of skin is a little bit different than yours. And once you know that, you'll do a little bit better. And you can change that, but you can't change an actual disorder. So racism is just being an asshole. Yeah, that's right. What I think. 1,000%. I'm not letting you a cop out. Fuck you. You're a fucking racist prick. Oh, no. But thank you to everybody for joining this episode. I do want to remind you that July is Culinary Arts Month. So shout out to all the chefs, Zoe, Kelly, that I've had on this podcast. I would love to record with her again. Now that she had the baby, you know, farmers are out there growing things because I think they're essential workers right now. Everybody working for like grocery stores and all those places, making sure we eat because we're all like, food is just so important right now. And just everyone involved in food. Thank you. I can't wait to try out that tasty app that they said. Hopefully it works the way that he said it does, because if not, I'm over here lying. But I want to try that now. Take this episode, rate and review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the podcast so much, endlessly. So if you're an Apple Podcast, take 2 seconds, rate it, leave a review. Let me know how it goes. There are a few assholes on there that have to say certain things, but you know, I can't help it. But I have way more supporters than anything else. Yeah, it's the business. I have way more supporters. So if you got to the end of the show, you're definitely supporting 1,000%. The July Book Club. Today's coming out tomorrow, so July 1st. We have been voting for it. So if you're not on Patreon, patreon.com/shit I'm30. We have a tier just for the book club on there if you don't want to be part of like the rest of the patron stuff. So it is $5 a month. You join the book club. This month we're doing something more risque. It's looking like we're going to be doing Zane, but we were voting on 3 books, like juicy, drama-filled fiction with like somebody fucking somebody else's husband type thing. So you wanted to get away and just kind of like escape to one of those books. So that's the book we'll be doing in July. So I'll announce on Patreon exactly which book we'll be doing. And Steph, thank you so much for coming on. Do you have any announcements that you have coming up with podcast work? How do we find you? All that fun stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Just follow us. Need to Know Pod on Twitter, on Instagram. You can follow me, Steph Styuhls, STEPH STYUHLS, because I'm different. We got a newsletter coming out. We have giveaways, all that good stuff. And keep a lookout for the confirmation series coming hopefully this summer.
I'm so excited. As soon as it's done, let me know, and I'm going to send it out to like everybody on here, because that just sounds like fun, and we're going to keep you accountable. We want to hear it. I'm going to go watch the first one. The first one's done, right?
Accountable.
The first one's on your Instagram?
Yeah, the first one's done.
Okay, so
I'll send you the page. Yeah, I'll send you the page.
Send me the page for that one, because I really want to see that first one. So thank you so much for coming on, and we'll see you guys again next week. Goodbye.